All right, guys, welcome to KC Happy Hour from Labor Day weekend. I want to thank everyone here for tuning in with us and joining us. We've got a couple new guests here in the booth with us this week. Brandon Jarsicrack's back, along with Paulie Massimino, some of our regulars. Andrew Bujdoso, newly crowned King of the Streets, is here. Chase Jones, another driver who came away with a win at the Rock Island Grand Prix, is here and helped represent the NKA online, since Joe Janowski, the other part of it, is out partying on Labor Day weekend. Christian's here actually working. Christian Marsh is here. It should be a good night to talk to all these guys. As always, everyone, remember to send your questions on the comment section. We'll answer them at segment number 3. First of all, Andrew, show us, you've got the most interesting background here. Give us a tour. Who's all around you right now?
Well, I'm with my grandparents. There's my grandpa, my grandma, and they got a little garden out here. Really good grapes. Really good grapes.
Oh,
this shit's growing from the garden. Right.
Nice.
2 colors, man. 2 colors.
You got it all.
You got options, man. You got to have options in life.
Well, we'll get to Andrew and everything he's got going on in a little bit. Mr. Newly Crowned King of the Streets took over from Race Liberante. Race got on the road a little bit late after the Sunday night shenanigans at Rock Island, so he's not here with us this week. But Chase, Christian, and Andrew are. We're going to talk about the Rock Island Grand Prix in a little bit. But first, before we get to that, guys, we want to give you a little bit of an update on Florida Mania here in 2021, because it is just getting a little bit more interesting as we go on. First and foremost, we talked about it last week, the Sunshine State Karting Challenge was going to be going to Orlando Kart Center, and it ended up visiting there just over the weekend. And so there was a couple of notes about that we wanted to touch on. So first, here with Orlando Kart Center, you can see just to the side of me, the layout. This is a drone shot actually from the race weekend and what the parking looked like with about 150 entries. And we'll talk a little more with SSKC in a moment. We'll have the winners actually coming across the screen and go in depth a little bit there. It was a good turnout for those guys. But Orlando Kart Center is a track that has hosted Florida Winter Tours in the past. And for a good bit of time, the majority of that parking lot and pit space was rented out to a trucking company. That since has been cleared out. He's also actually got even a little bit more space at the back of the area highlighted up there. So that is an additional 3 acres kind of spread out long ways. That could be about another 2 rows of paddock space he's going to have in January of 2022. So he's trying to prep himself, Andre Martins, and the Orlando Kart Center team to host big racing there again. Everyone seems to like it. As you can see from just the overhead layout of the racetrack, it looks like a proper racetrack. It's got grass on all sides, most sides. And from a track that started as almost a temporary looking track with cones in 2011, 2010, it's got nice curbing. It's got the grass around it. It doesn't have runoff every single place, but it's got a lot of room. And the Orlando Kart Center hosted SSKC, which is kind of like a teaser towards bigger series. It's a regional series, but a pretty strong one at about 150 entries, which was the size of some of the last Florida Winter Tours of this year. Not the first one, but the second and third, I think, hovered around the 130 to 175 mark. So if Rock Winter Tour wants to go there, I think especially if you look towards the back half of that paddock where you're going to have that extra bit of space added on in January for the Rock Cup guys, that's an option. SKUSA and Orlando Kart Center have never really gotten along. I don't think you'll see SKUSA Winter Series go there. And then, we don't know on the rest of the dates for that 2022 national schedule. But to go through on the other tracks, because we didn't really give Jacksonville the most love, but we gave them the most spotlight last week. So going over Jacksonville, as it loads up, right, we talked about the safety aspect, and really, that's a big thing with the drivers that groans whenever we go there. But more than anything, the biggest issue is that the track's really easy. It's got really banked turns. Everyone's going to be packed up, and at a national race, 40 drivers are within half a second on a hard track. So let's go through the rest of the tracks. Jacksonville, at least, is a purpose-built racetrack, and on top of that, it has the parking space to work to host a big event. When you look at the other tracks around, here is AMR Motorplex in Homestead. This is a shot from a SKUSA Winter Series event back in 2019, I believe. You can see how much pit space they've got because they have all the NASCAR parking lots behind them. But the one downside that people don't like running there, of course, is the curbing at the outside of the racetrack. So because there's just pavement and it's proper pavement on either side, both on the racing surface and off it, a lot of guys don't necessarily love going there. But the good part is now, over the last few years, it's had a management company's been trying to work on it with the same guys who own GoPro Motorplex. So every year they've added something a little bit different to try and combat the curbing, whether it's shaping the curbs down, taking them out, adding extra curbs in the runoff to slow them down. I've always thought it'd be really cool if they could take the grass patches and maybe put more of those there, but that's tough because they do use that parking lot for the NASCAR race. We go to some of the other tracks in Florida, moving on around here. Actually right there, sorry, wrong one. This is Monticello karting we talked about, and this is probably everyone's favorite Florida track because it's a really nice piece of asphalt. It was actually designed by Juan Pablo Montoya's father. The downside is that's all that's there. It is in the swamp in the panhandle of Florida. It's about 30 minutes north or 30 minutes away from the closest hotel, and you can see it. There's literally just a tent over there for the scoring tower. There is no facilities at all, and you're in the swampland of Florida. So the pit space, being grass, can get a little bit nasty, and it gets really hot up there in the summer. Doesn't have a breeze, but the track is beautiful. It doesn't have a huge club following. It's probably got the smallest club following out of everyone. Jacksonville is a decent one, mainly four-stroke. AMR Homestead has a really good club following. They're at almost 150 entries for their club races nowadays. And then Orlando Kart Center is rebuilding. It's centrally located. And like we talked about with Orlando, there's a lot of room to grow there with the new paddock space in the back section, along with the track being a pretty good and technical racetrack. So where everybody goes in Florida, if they stay in Florida Winter Series, that's kind of all the tracks that are on the table if they don't go anywhere temporary. And, of course, we've talked about AMR Motorplex that hosted both SKUSA Winter Series rounds the last few years. It's not confirmed to do any of that. They don't have any contracts in place for 2022. But we're still way out, and that could easily change, and they could go back to Homestead for back-to-back races with SKUSA and Rock. They've done two temporary tracks and the recently closed Ocala Grand Prix, so that's all up in the air, and we'll see. But for everyone here, that affects some of us, doesn't affect every bit of us. Brandon, obviously, will be looking for work there. Chase Jones, MPG Motorsports team manager, has to tune in. And, Andrew, you raced Rock Cup Winter Tour on the temporary tracks this year. You've seen all the tracks in Florida. What would you like to see the Rock Cup schedule look like with the 3 rounds they've got for 22? Oh, wait, hold on.
Tracks. All right, you unmute me. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
I like the street tracks. I like the parking lots. It's a good atmosphere, but Orlando for sure, because that's hard as hell in a shifter. And Orlando and 2 temporary tracks. The Anderson is a shithole, Bushnell, and Monticello. I mean, I've never been there. I haven't wasted my time to go there, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
2 street tracks in Orlando.
All right. Not a bad schedule. Now, Brandon, I want you to walk everybody through because you've raced Homestead a good amount of times in the last few years, and you're one that could definitely describe, when we look at the layout of the racetrack, of what we're talking about with the curbing, right? So what corners over here are you seeing where guys jump, and for viewers of where we have the issues and where they kind of need to do a little bit of work to get it to a point where it's a proper national track?
So it really depends what direction you run, because if you run the backwards direction, which isn't what we normally race, down towards the right side of the picture, where like would be the last few corners before you get onto the front stretch. I remember the last time I raced there, we were allowed to go out all the way almost to like where the red and white barriers are, and coming onto the front stretch, it was like you were almost like jumping motocross jumps to get onto the front stretch, and that was definitely a go-kart killer and definitely a body killer. The other part that was kind of bad was coming down in like the top left corner and then the bottom left corner. Coming off of those 2 corners, you kind of have the same thing where you go out onto the excess asphalt, but they actually put these black rumble strips in this year that I think definitely helped keep people off of it. But by the end of the weekend, it seemed like you could almost run over them because they were worn down so much that you could run over them and it didn't really do any damage anymore. I think Xander came up with a good idea of maybe just putting like temporary grass on just the exit of those few corners where we have the problem, and that might help fix it, because if you have grass out there, no one will be able to go out there.
Right, and there's a lot of other ways that these guys could try and change it up too. If you look at like Paul Ricard circuit, where the F1 guys go, we don't have that technology, or at least no one's seen the paint technology. But I'm sure it's out there and something that they can look at. However expensive it may be a few years out before the expense of that becomes kind of unsustainable. To put kind of paint that actually slows the cars down when they get off it because it has less grip. The paint over here is just standard paint to make the track look aesthetically pleasing. So again, like Brandon's saying, even in corners where it had the blue paint, it really didn't make a difference unless you were in the rain. And even then in the rain, you're not necessarily needing to go that much wider to carry speed. You're just going wider for more grip and a wider, easier radius corner. But they've been trying new things every year, like Brandon said. 2 years ago when they ran it in the clockwise direction, they had a big problem in the bottom right corner, like he was saying, where they were jumping all the way out. It was like a motocross whoop section. They put those black and yellow curbs in back for last year, and then they went back after SKUSA came through, and a lot of those black and yellow curbs got turned into proper concrete curbs. So there is concrete curbs now where the black and yellow ones were, because the issue was they were coming up from the racetrack during the race weekend. But they've worked on it every year. And that track, again, it has the parking space, as we've shown earlier on there. It has more than enough room to host nationals. There's no question as to why it checks every box that you need to host a national event there. It's got a great club following. It's got plenty of pit space. And it's a long enough and wide enough racetrack that they can go to, which, unlike Anderson Race Park, unfortunately, that does have close to enough pit space, is just a little bit too short and a little bit too narrow to host a proper national. So for those guys to continue to work on it and to continue to add more to that track and working, they're not just letting the issue go. And again, if even in years past, the curbs weren't always an issue. The issue is the track has been around for more than 20 years, and I don't believe the curbs are that old, but they're at least 10 years old, if not older. And just over time, curbs get hit, they get shaved down slowly but surely. Instead of a curb that was a monster you couldn't even touch before, you're jumping and it's a little bit painful. And then everybody was jumping by the time we got to 2019, 2020. And at that point, you had to hit every single one and go over them without any issues. So that's our update on Florida. And the last track update we'll kind of pass it to everybody for thoughts on. Christian Marsh will be a good guy to talk to you a little bit, as well as the K1 circuit. This news actually got passed to us last week during the show. Austin Osborne was the one who brought it to my attention. And this track has been in production since 2018, or at least in the works. But just like with anything, with any time a new racetrack or brand new facility goes through, there is a lot of litigation and a lot of permits and approval they have to go. Even after they've acquired the land and gotten the land zoned for it, there's still more to get paving, to get buildings, to get everything in line, and it takes a long and lengthy process going through the county, going through every bit of the legalities just to get approved to properly operate the business. But they finally have broken ground at K1 circuit. And the other cool part is, initially some of the rumors that were coming out was this is being part of the K1 Speed rental kart company. These guys were exclusively going to have outdoor electric go-karts there. They've said in the article they are going to have those faster electric go-karts, but they are trying to host major races. It's only going to be that one layout, which you can see in the second picture over here. They're not going to have multiple tracks, which is a little bit interesting, but they've got the opportunity to run multiple tracks if they want to. With the way that it looks like they've got drawn here on this map, you've got kind of a south course and a north course. So if they do that on a regular basis, that would be really cool. And it's kind of got the setup that NOLA Motorsports Park has, where you can run the full layout for leagues or special events or national races. And then on a regular race weekend, you may be able to, or regular weekend, you could still have rental karts going on the left side, owner karts on the right side. There's obviously a lot of land around there, but there's not necessarily a ton of pit space. So I'm not sure what their plans are to host those big events, because just as we were talking with Orlando, adding 3 acres is not a major add for any of these tracks in the paddock area. You need to have at least about 5 to 7 acres just for trailer parking and car parking, and arguably even more than that. So to host a 250, 300 event, SKUSA Pro Tour, US Pro Kart Series, Rock Cup USA, Florida Winter Tour, or Rock Vegas, or major events. So however they work that out is going to be interesting, and we're still waiting to see. But the cool part is Southern California has finally got a new racetrack coming back. They haven't really had a proper racetrack since Moran Raceway went away, and then Rocky Moran Jr. is involved, who is his family ran Moran Raceway, which was under lease, which is why it doesn't exist now, because the ownership of it changed, of the property, if I'm not mistaken. I think Christian could correct me. But it's cool to see him. He mentioned in the article as well, he was able to take some of the aspects of Moran Raceway, put it into K1 circuit. And like Christian and I were talking about right before we went on the air, Atlanta Motorsports Park, we believe, is the only other track that's built fully, paving everything to the FIA. I think, is it grade A or class 1 standards, I think, for kart tracks, Christian?
Yeah, so I mean the CIK stuff, really it's about like the shape of the curbs, the type of material they're using to pave, drainage, things like that. I don't know if I know you've, Xander, had an opportunity to go down to AMP. I don't know who else has, but really AMP is, the facility's beautiful. I expect the K1 facility will be, as good, if not better than AMP, maybe a little bit more able to host big events like you mentioned. You said, I think 2018. I actually think I've been hearing about this since about 2015, if not a little bit sooner. So this is something that personally I think is going to be really good for the SoCal area. I know you mentioned maybe not enough parking space available just from the aerial stuff for like a Pro Tour, but they have the Pro Kart Challenge could probably host an event here. It'd be a great facility for Challenge of the Americas. I know Andy and that program has been, kind of traveling that region. I know they hit Cal Speed once or twice a year. So really, I mean, I think anytime you see a facility like this being built, it's going to kind of hopefully create another epicenter for the club level to build and that to feed these other programs. So anytime something like this happens, it's good for the whole sport. Yeah,
no doubt. And, you're involved in that with the NKA side, right? This is huge. Just like you said, this could be an epicenter. LAKC, being near the Southern California market, being relatively near LA on a parking lot track at Cal Speed pulls massive numbers to the point where they don't even really focus too much on, arrive and drive rental karting. They have a rental karting league and they have racing series almost every single weekend. So to have a second track in that area, I think is going to do wonders for that region. It's going to be really cool to see it. And Brandon, you posted it. You were the one that sent it in our private chat here. I mean, I know you'd love to go there with a major touring series because the layout looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I said when I sent it in the group chat, I said maybe USBKS because they did say the Southwest region, but I think that's more of like a West region than a Southwest. So I think we'll still be going to probably Texas for that. But I have a feeling probably 2023. I guarantee you there'll probably be a Pro Tour race there. In my opinion.
Yeah, Paulie, what do you think? Are you excited? Do you like the layout from what you're seeing so far?
It looks like a cool layout. It'd be cool for a series to go there so I can go because we're all on the West Coast. I mean the East Coast, so it's a little far for us. But no, it looks like a cool track, and it'd be cool to go to. I know, the RPM boys live pretty close to there, so that'd be pretty cool.
And Chase, what about you? Now as an official team manager, are you looking forward to driving a big rig all the way out to Southern California for a weekend?
Oh man, I'm always open to go race at new tracks, and I saw the picture of that, and the layout looks sweet, and from what I hear, the surface is supposed to be super nice, so I'm always open to run on new tracks for sure.
Well, guys, that takes us right to our first commercial break, but don't tune away at all. It's just about to get really, really good because it's time to talk about Rock Island when we come back. Remember, guys, as always, if you got any questions for some of our newer guests here with Chase Jones, Christian Marsh, of course, joining us, along with Andrew Bujdoso, newly crowned King of the Streets. We've got a lot of juicy stuff from the Rock Island Grand Prix coming up right after the commercial break. We'll run you through every bit of that. So again, guys, stay tuned in, and thank you guys for tuning in so far. KC Happy Hour episode 9 rolls on.
KC Happy Hour is presented by Precision Performance Karting. PPK is the exclusive South Florida dealer for Coyote Motorsports kart racing chassis and Coyote's newest distributor. However, owner John Seglem and Coyote Motorsports' relationship spans across numerous decades in the sport, meaning that you've got years of winning expertise at your service. PPK offers trackside support at all of the CKNA South Division events, the CKNA majors, such as the Spring Nationals and the Grand Nationals, the Sunshine State Karting Challenge, and a number of club races in the Southeast. PPK also has an impressive driver roster at these events, racking up multiple wins and podiums in 2021 with longtime Coyote Motorsports driver Chris Carroll and KC Happy Hour's own Paulie Massimino and Brandon Jarsacrack. If you're looking to get on the same race-winning equipment as these drivers, from the Coyote Motorsports chassis to the Odenthal motor mounts and Greyhound racing seats, Precision Performance Karting has you covered. Check out Precision Performance Karting on Facebook and Instagram, or email them at ppkartingfl@gmail.com.
Welcome to Ohio Kart Parts, the Midwest's largest Burrell Art racing go-kart dealer. We carry Burrell Art, Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, and Robert Kubica branded go-karts, as well as parts from names you trust. Chassis components from Freeline, engines from Miami, Briggs & Stratton, and soon-to-be Tillotson, electronics from AIM Technologies, MG Tires, Tika Axles, seating from Tillett, Arai helmets, and 3/10 race products. Visit us online at www.ohiokartparts.com, at our facility in Lorain, Ohio, or at the local track on race weekends. If we don't have it, call us at 440-628-CART. That's 5278, and we will do what we can to help you out.
KC Happy Hour is presented by Rollison Performance Group, North America's top karting team. RPG is a full-time operation that is fully focused on driver development and furthering your karting career. Each RPG team member benefits from data and coaching by multi-time national champions, including the likes of Ryan Norberg, Luke Selikin, Austin Garrison, and more. Team owner Mike Rollison is a highly decorated driver himself, and he knows what it takes to win. He brings that same culture and expertise with him at each event RPG attends, regularly being one of the first in the pit area when gates open, and one of the last to leave. RPG also offers individual and group coaching days at its home base at Pat's Acres Racing Complex in Canby, Oregon. Here, the team is able to do specialized drills and spend hours focused on different driving techniques and skills, preparing drivers to go out and dominate at the next race. Because winning isn't just done on the race weekend. It's accomplished by putting in time outside of the races as well. If you're looking to take your karting career to the next level, or if you're looking to win races, then check out Rollison Performance Group on Facebook and Instagram, as well as their official website, rollisonpg.com.
Well, guys, welcome back here. And like the banner says, Rock Island Grand Prix is the one race a year where it's really just a party that a race breaks out at. And we had a lot of guys there, and we had a lot to dive into. And we need to kick things off. Andrew, first of all, big-time win, all right? Big-time partying after. I think we should just probably go ahead and play the video.
How's it going, y'all? Good? You all good? All right. Well, 2 years ago, I never made the main event. But I'm a little more mature now, feel better, you know. But anyways, I had raw pace because I got really close to the barrier. They still left a couple inches on the table. And Exus knows what that's like. I gotta thank my sponsors. Robert, thank you. Okay, I got some raw power. All right, that's for damn sure. Not just the power, the Magic chassis. If y'all didn't hear about it, I mean it's the shit. Okay, it's plain and simple. All right. Not just the Magic chassis, not just the engines. It's everyone back there at that table. They make it happen. If it wasn't for them, I'd probably be working at McDonald's. You know, you never know. But other than that, I gotta thank Debbie. Debbie, you've been here since I've been born. So hats off to you. Hats off to you. So you know, I'm glad I can make y'all laugh. I'm fast, y'all. All right. So. So I hope y'all have a good time. I'll see y'all next year. Let's make the track a little wider. Thank you.
Man.
That's gold. That's gold.
So, Christian, was there any pucker factor as soon as you knew you had to give Andrew a mic at the actual banquet after winning the race?
I think, I mean, everyone knew it was coming, right? Andrew, he didn't go out Saturday night, which is pretty rare. It's the first time his girlfriend came with him, and I think she kept him in check. Anyone who missed it, he said he didn't make the main last time he was at Rock Island because he got so messed up Saturday night. He literally just didn't show up to the track ready to race for the main on Sunday. I'm pretty sure he got kicked out of an RV. He was sleeping somewhere. and sometimes you just got to sleep it off. But this year he stayed cool on Saturday. He, I mean, like you said, man, just watching him get close to the barriers. He was the only guy touching the barriers. I don't know if it's like raw talent or something else. You guys can, put your thoughts in the comments as to why Andrew would do that. But I don't know, man. It's pretty cool, an event like that, to watch how the drivers react to having a big crowd and getting to give speeches at the end of the day. And I think Andrew's speech will probably go down in history as like one of the best. He doesn't know what to do with his hands, and he wakes up and he pisses excellence.
Andrew, you've had a day to decompress, man. Tell us about your weekend.
Well, it started off with me and my engine guy, Armor, arguing about the gear ratio. And I just told him I don't want to start on his gear ratio because it's a little more mile an hour at the end of the straightaway. I was like, dude, if you give me that like 1 mile an hour more, I'm going to be crashing into the wall. So I was like, just keep me on the slower ratio. I want to go faster through the turns and not on the straightaway. And so be told, I mean, I was hauling through the turns, and I hit a wall a couple of times. I bent the steering shaft before I even got there. Don't ask me how. I didn't notice it at Scusa because it was the same go-kart. But, that thing turned really good to the left. Only needed to turn right once, and I was just on the edge, man. That's all it was. On the edge of out of control.
Chase, you were in the show, man. What did you see?
Man, for the 175 strip, or the open shifter in King of the Streets, I mean, that was only my second ever shifter race that I've done, and the track was insane with how fast it was with the shifter. And you want to talk, basically balls to the wall. I mean, all of us were, but Andrew was just a little more out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Now you actually, Chase, you had a little rivalry going on with Race Liberante, all in good fun. Yeah. But let's say it, you ended up winning more sessions. He ended up winning more main events. Would you say you still came out as the winner on the weekend?
Man, that's a tough call, because if we're going off count, then I'm up, but he's also got one more rock than I do coming away from the weekend. So I think we should put like a poll up or something if we can, and see if some of the people see what they think.
And you hadn't run this event in almost, you said almost like what, 10 years? When was the last time you said you went to Rock Island?
I think I was 14, so yeah, it'd been 10 years ago. Dang. So it's been a while.
Yeah, so you actually got to go out to the bars this time. How was your Sunday night?
Yeah, I was. I was fortunate enough to have like my entire team with me. So I had my dad and Austin Fairfield and Billy Vincent with me as well, and and having HMG pitted right next to us and race as well, it made it like super enjoyable. But Sunday night definitely lived up to the hype, and I'm very glad I stayed another night. And there's lots of stories that were made as well. So
yeah, well, let's switch gears off that, because we don't want to get anyone canceled too early here. But right. Christian, as an event promoter, you guys were hoping to put this on last year. COVID got in the way, and now we go here to 2021. It's still a hand-in-hand partnership. The NK is supporting, bringing some cool stuff in, but you and Joe are all about the show, about doing cool stuff. What was some of the stuff you're able to pull off this year? What do you want to do moving forward in the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, really Rock Island, like Joe Janowski, the other partner in the NK, he was the first ever King of the Streets. So Joe back in the 90s won the pro shifter class. Yesterday he was able to actually crown Andrew, which was pretty cool. So Rock Island's something that just kind of, it means a lot to the NKA, and we were excited when we got to be involved. Like the guy said, I mean, the event in and of itself is badass. For as far back as I can remember, like the biggest karting street race in the world. Normally, killer shifter field, killer 206 fields. This year they actually added some 100cc stuff. It ended up being primarily KA 100. Which Chase and Race also raced in. We added some King classes for that category as well as 206 this year. Really, Joe and I came in to kind of provide some updates to the event as far as like the actual production goes. So we were able to bring in, in addition to the Rock Island crew, which it's all volunteer based, those guys put on, one of the best shows in the country. And the fact that they do it just for the love of the sport's amazing. We brought in Zach Tasker, who works with the NK and the Stars program, as well as SCUSA. His full-time job, he's an IndyCar marshal, works with IMSA. We were able to bring in Sierra Ebert, ran the grid, which everyone would know her from SCUSA and Stars. It was cool having her there. She actually drove her dad's van up, which was pretty special. Brent would have never missed an opportunity to be at a race that was just happened to be at a party. So that was cool. And another thing we added was this year we actually brought the light system that we use at the Stars Series. So we implemented that at Rock Island, which kind of bumped the safety aspect up. Street racing, they keep it as safe as they can. Rock Island's definitely one of the better ones as far as safety goes. It's all Tech Pro barriers, really good catch fencing, K barriers, jersey barriers, things like that. They keep the crowd safe, they keep the drivers safe. But communicating with those drivers, all the corners are blind. They're racing around buildings in the street. So, there was a couple of times someone thought they were Andrew Bujdoso and got a little ballsy at the apex and came in contact with the barrier at the exit. And you can't see those incidents going into the corners. So the light system that we have, it's the 4-flag system from Pixel Motorsport. It's got a central unit that controls 10 on-track lights. As well as a main board that you can display information. Every corner stand flag has all of the marshal flags, essentially yellows, full course yellows, blues, mechanicals, other informational flags. It's really a neat system. It's the system approved by the FIA. It's passed the safety standards to be able to manage an F1 race. So really having the ability for each marshal individually to be able to control their corner, tell the drivers there was something up, displaying greens in corners where, to let drivers know it's safe coming into it this time. We really only saw, I think, 2 incidents, and both of them, the drivers ended up being perfectly fine. So, to get away from a street race with that kind of safety is cool. And really, man, the racing is just awesome. I don't think there was a final outside of Andrew's King of the Streets final that wasn't a super tight battle, 2-3 wide at the line. Andrew was able to check out. I think by the end of that race, he had 10 seconds. Long enough. Yeah, man. I mean, long enough for one of the coolest celebrations I've ever seen in karting in more than 20 years. So we'll post that for sure this week. But really, man, it's a cool event. I think that, taking last year off, it's no secret that Rock Island's in Illinois, and Illinois did a lot of shutting stuff down. But it was cool to see the community come out. I mean, the fences were all lined, people throwing parties, stuff like that on Sunday. So I think next year the Rock Island Grand Prix is going to be back in full swing.
Yeah, Paulie and Brandon, you guys weren't there. Brandon, you had to go to you had some prior commitments, right? Mr. Mike Doty finally getting locked back up.
Yeah, Mike Doty had his wedding this weekend, so I had to go to that. Otherwise, I think I would have tried to attend Rock Island. I've wanted to go for countless years, but for some reason I always have something to do on Labor Day weekend, so I haven't been able to make it. Maybe next year will be the year I get to go.
Yeah, and Paulie, first of all, the fans are worried about you again. Alex Stanfield is shouting you out. He wants to make sure you're okay. But no, you said you wanted to go to this one. You couldn't make it happen this year. You want to go next year, right?
Yeah, it'd be cool to go to. I don't know, maybe just show up in the back of the truck with a little tent. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have went if Brandon could have went because, I don't know, I'd want Brandon to tune for me, and we probably would have had some fun. So maybe next year we could work something out to get it going, and we'll see.
We'll see. Andrew, your weekend ended good. You made it crazy. How big of a group are you excited to bring back to it next year?
Man, I'm trying to make it big as hell. We had cornhole tournaments going. Man, we had a margarita machine. We went through 5 gallons of margarita.
5 gallons after the racing. So everybody, everybody knows.
Yeah, it was fully within the insurance, right? But
yeah, exactly.
let's clear it up for everybody too. Rock Island is 2 days of on-track action. So unlike all of our other nationals where 5 gallons will be a gallon a day for 5 days there, I mean, you guys got there, Friday night and went through it all the way to Sunday night?
Yeah, I mean, we actually ran out like an hour after the final. But it's like it's all about having fun, man. And we're fast and fun, and we get the shit done. We all work together. We all have fun together. And I mean, the more of the story is, if you ain't there, your balls are small, because that track takes huge balls. Because if I had to get close to that wall, man, and that's balls.
Yeah.
So
it's something. It is absolutely something to get there. Well, while we wrap up from Rock Island, guys, first here, actually, before we go to commercial break, Chase, I'm gonna give you one more chance. All right, Race is coming on the show next week. What do you have to say to him?
That he's welcome.
2 inches.
Oh,
but yeah, I kind of gave him the one in the King of the Streets 100. So he told my dad he was a bad mechanic, and but no, it's all good fun. But yeah, we have to decide who won the bet or whatever it was, what the wager is. So we have to decide. We need to let the people decide. So yeah,
I think
super
we
fun
need another
weekend.
haircut. Someone needs to go bald.
someone does need to go.
We
Bald.
need another haircut
Started a
like
good
Connor.
trend.
Someone needs to go bald.
Race is
Whoever
already
was.
halfway there.
That's true.
It's got to be something. It can't just be money or drinks. Race already showed he was balling out with his prize money drop. What, $600 on a bar tab?
Yeah, we
Man,
were.
I think it was Chase's fault. Chase kept just going, shots, come on, keep them coming. The whole bar. Wedding party that wasn't even at the race, flight attendants, they didn't care. And Race paid for all of it.
Yeah, my tab was pretty fat too. But we were talking about the wager for next year. If we do something again like that, we're gonna have to do Edward 40 hands. So at the banquet, so whoever loses has to walk in with 40s taped on their hands and speak.
Well, we'll see. We can't wait to get back there next year. Hopefully we get to bring the KC crew on out. I mean, NK does a great job, everybody, and it's a great race. And we still got these guys on here for one more segment. And viewers, again, last chance. Make sure to send in your questions. Christian Marsh with the NK, anything they've got going on in the Stars Championship Series coming up with the finale in Pittsburgh. Chase Jones is going to be racing a lot with everything with MPG. Andrew's racing a lot, and thing about Andrew, he's a wild man. Someone asked, actually, really quick, if you were in a pizza place, Andrew. No, you're not, but you're around, right? We actually got you with an internet connection this week.
Yeah, I have an internet connection. I have a bed this weekend. It's pretty fabulous. Only for a couple of days though. Probably be back on the couch next Friday. But it's racing, running this Magic Kart shit. It takes all passion, and if you don't have passion for the sport, then you're gonna be running mid-pack. So you gotta have passion, and you gotta be willing to do anything for the sport. And just like you, Xander, you went in balls deep for this kart chaser program, and you're coming out well. And I mean, I hope everyone. I mean, I like this kart chaser stuff, and if you haven't bought the hoodies or T-shirts yet, you're missing out, because I got some.
Yeah, hey, Andrew's not lying, all right? He actually did. He went in, bought some stuff first weekend in Homestead this year as soon as we got it. So thank you, Andrew. And again, all these guys are here. So again, Andrew, the Road Warrior, we don't know when we'll even get to see him online again, much less actually on the podcast. And the same for Chase and Christian, both busy guys. Paulie and Brandon are here most of the time. If you got any questions, again, send those in. We're going to go to commercial when we come back. It's time for some Q&A with everyone we got, from Rock Island to SSKC to everything else in between.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun, sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com, and one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
I'm Alex Speed, the team principal here at Speed Concepts Racing. We have an elite karting program. We really focus on giving the drivers the tools they have to take to the next level. We don't really want to, it's important to win racing and go karting, but really give the kids the tools they need to hopefully become professional racing drivers. We're on the OTK Red Speed Kart. We have our own in-house motor program with Speed Lab. We do really competitive in the national races, but again, our main focus is really giving the kids, the tools they have, looking at data, looking at video to really give them arsenal to go on to car racing and hopefully be successful.
Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/speedconceptsracing or email us at speedconceptsracing@gmail.com.
Well, guys, welcome back here. Let's take you through all the questions we got and see what we have in order. So going all the way from the top, and we got a lot of reactions. First of all, let's see. Oh, we had a question here. Actually, this is Brandon. This one's good for you, buddy. First, and we're talking about Rock Island. We all know Mike Doty knows how to party. How are you feeling?
Yeah, yesterday was a little rough. Definitely a rough ride home, but yeah, it was good fun at the Mike Doty wedding. It was. Yeah, that's all I can say. Good fun, and yes, I'm fully recovered, AJ.
Let's see. We'll keep on going down here. Who else do we have come in? Oh, well, the little kids are really, really into you tonight, Paulie. They want to know how much you weigh.
I weigh about 135 on a good day, 250 on a bad day. So
let's see. Ethan O-Ring asks, will Stars overthrow the F-Series gear up? Now, Christian, don't worry. You can keep your mouth shut here. You can be Mr. Politically Correct. I'd say it's probably you compare series to series, nothing's ever going to be apples to apples, but if you were to put one over the other right now, I think everyone has a pretty easy answer. The Stars guys are doing a heck of a job and definitely a little bit up on it.
Man, I think what's important, dude, is like it helps the entire sport if everyone works together. So like I get along good with Marco. We talk to all the other promoters, working on like scheduling for 2022, make sure people aren't on top of each other. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Come run a Stars race, Ethan, and we'll see what you think when you're done.
Yeah. Let's see here. So we were just talking about this actually right before we went on the air, because this is actually our next event that we have on the KC official schedule. And a big reason we're going to the CKNA Grand Nationals is a huge thank you to Briggs Racing and Briggs and Stratton all together. Those guys stepped up. The crew over there are awesome, great people. And they brought us to the CKNA Spring Nats. We were hoping to get to the 24 hours of NOLA this year, but that's on the same weekend as Super Nats. But our second and final Briggs and Stratton event of the year is going to be the CKNA Grands. Brandon's going to be running on the Precision Performance Karting tent. Paulie, you're supposed to be running over CKNA Grands. And Chase, you're running too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be running with myself and Jake with Eric. So, yeah, we'll be there.
Nice. So we'll get the Will Power Kart liveries. Andrew, are you bringing out the Magic 206 to CKNA Grand?
I was trying to get me and AJ to run it so we could bump draft our way through, and then like maybe I could just plow people out of the way. But I mean, I'll be there. My brother will be selling the Greyhound stuff. I'll be supporting some of my mini drivers and maybe a junior and senior driver. None of it's totally confirmed yet, but I'll be there. We'll play cornhole, Xander. I got you. Don't feel left out.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll be there. We'll have a good time. Oh, right, here's one. All right, here's one, Christian. So you guys got 2 dates out. Don't have the last 2, right? Where are we at? How close are you? I think a better question here asking about NJMP, whether or not you can't reveal that. But we do have the Stars schedule. So talking, how close are you guys to being able to get those final 2 dates out for 2022?
So, I mean, dates are out now. StarsChampionshipSeries.com, all over. Yeah, the locations. We're going to start off in Newcastle. Second round's going to be GoPro Under the Lights, which I think people are pretty stoked about. I could tell you right now, round 4 is going to be at Pittsburgh again. The guys at Pitt have come out of the NKA program this year. We feel like that's a perfect place to cap the series off every year. And that third race, we're kind of still talking about it. Internally, I can tell you NJMP has definitely been discussed. We've got quite a contingent from Indiana, Illinois, and that's a little bit of a haul for those guys. I know it's no secret there's some new facilities being built here in the Midwest, and I think we'll just have to wait another couple weeks and see how that plays out. But we should know something here pretty soon for that third date.
And talking to, right, GoPro Under the Lights, that shows right there on the schedule. So you guys normally run a single main event format with heat starting on Saturday, going into Sunday, and then the main on Sunday. How is that GoPro race going to shape up? Have you guys started to play around with the format just yet?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously everything's up for litigation. Joe and I spend a ton of time talking about this stuff. Just making sure we're on top of it. Right now, it looks like we'll probably move in Thursday morning, which is pretty standard for Stars racing. But I think we'll probably have some practice, Thursday from like 3 to 10, 3 to 11, and then get some official sessions qualifying, maybe a single heat race out of the way Friday. And, race Saturday finals under the lights with everybody, and tentatively, if it rains at night, that makes it pretty difficult. So then tentatively, if any weather infractions or anything, we would just push the finals to Sunday. But right now it's looking like Saturday night under the lights will be the finals.
And I agree with Nathan there. I think night racing Saturday night for the main events is going to be absolutely sick. So that's pretty cool. And a track like that, like GoPro, is just as bright at night with the stadium lighting they got as it is during the day. Let's see. I think that just about wraps it up here. Ethan was asking about the X30 stuff. So you can touch on it a little bit too, Christian. But with Stars, the focus is trying to figure out where the customers want to run and the level you guys are at. You're still kind of finding the place and moving the series in what direction it grows. Because just like any business, coming with a plan, you think it's going to go one way, it goes another way. Customers determine of what racing. I was with you guys there last year. The X30 stuff kind of started slow and never really fully picked up. And then this year, it was here, it was offered, but we just didn't have any entries by the time we got to Newcastle.
Yeah, I think, really it's about finding where you fit in the market. And really USPKS and SKUSA serve the X30 market perfectly already. Like Xander said, we offered it last year. There were some events, Newcastle, we would get a decent amount of X30s. I think we had 22 at the finale the second year, the first year. But this year we started out, I think we had 6 at GoPro, and it never really took off. So we decided to kind of just close that down. Anyone who was entered in X30, we actually ended up renting them a KA motor to run KA Stars, the KA Pro category. And that class has been right about 34 entries all year. So I think really where it fits at Stars is just the K is going to be the way to go. It's a good blend of like your local guys trying to do something new. And then, the top portion of the field is obviously some of the best guys in the country. So the K just seems to serve that market better. And anyone running X30 is going to want to go to USPKS anyways.
No doubt. And you did get a little bit of love here from Amber. He's tuning in. Your engine builder, Andrew, he tuned in and said, hey, before it's all done, I want to thank Andrew for his badass drive and all the guys, and on to Christian for his amazing job with NK Stars and everything. So, Christian, Andrew, Amber's, he's still fired up after last night. I'm glad he made it out, too, because he FaceTimed me about 12:30 in the morning and seemed to be having a great night with the rest of you boys. Actually, we could have probably done happy hour then and been a little bit better off. Everyone except for Brandon and Paulie. Brandon, you probably were still up.
Yeah, I was still awake, I think.
I think happy hour would have gone different if we did it with Chase at 1:30 last night.
What are you afraid of saying, Chase?
Man, that was a blurry night for sure.
My parents' garage.
Yeah. Yeah, we know how Amber feels about that.
Oh man. Let's see. That about does it though, guys. Any other questions? We'll give you guys one last opportunity to talk and everything. Andrew and Chase and Christian, we don't know when we'll have them on next. First, Andrew here, closing thoughts on everything. A wild weekend. What do you have next up, man? You know you're gonna be busy. Where are you going?
I got some coaching gigs down in GoPro, and then we're going to be covering the F Series race, and after that, I believe we're going into CKNA. So once CKNA hits, October is kind of a dead month, and we'll just be prepping for Vegas, trying to dominate the shift of racing all over again, between AJ and I.
Then Chase, what about yourself? You've got your own coaching brand you're starting to launch over at Whiteland more and more. You've obviously got the MPG Motorsports and Power Kart team to continue to manage. How busy did your September look?
It's pretty busy, man. Just like Andrew, I've got coaching all week this week, and then weekend's pretty light. We've got a Whiteland race, but I've still got customers I got to take care of there. And then following week, we finish out Route up at Badger. Then Grands is right after that, and then we go straight into October, and I've got more going on then. So it's pretty tight for sure.
And Christian, you dropped a bombshell there. We're officially going to Pittsburgh for the finale for the 2022 Stars series, but we still got Pittsburgh 2021 finale coming up. Is that your next focus here you've got this month to start promoting that?
Yeah, I mean, with the NK, we've got more than 320 facilities and series on the program, so that takes up, quite a bit of time in that gap in between Stars events. But yeah, Stars in October. Apparently, Andrew forgot about that. He's in the lead in the KZ Stars class, but he got his ass kicked by a 13-year-old at MCC, so he's probably just trying to block it out. I think Brent made it a point to tell Andrew he was about to start the 8th grade before he fucking to him. So it's it's one of those things that I think the Pittsburgh race is going to be pretty cool. It's got the possibility of being the biggest one of the year and beating that 130 we had at GoPro for the launch.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to bring Brent on. You want to talk about personalities? That kid's something else, man. He is not a normal 13-year-old. So we'll have to bring Brent on. Hold on. Here, Race Liberante is here in the chat. He's not on. He's saying bad knee. What is he talking about? Andrew, you have a bad knee over in Cincy?
Well, that was just an excuse. I also have another excuse. I also have another one, man. Another one that's a little better. But breaks went out.
Hey, it's all right. Race couldn't even do the last race because he was hurting so bad.
There
looks like a kid kart driver with that.
Exactly. And Devin drove his go-kart in the last race, and there was no brakes. So
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, man.
Hey, he totaled one of the MPG chassis in the 206 race too. So he had a rough weekend.
Yeah. But my guys at Rock Island, Landon had a rough weekend in the KA and Austin. They're up there. But Rock Island, if you guys aren't there next year, and if you're tuning in listening, you better be looking into getting there because you gotta have fun, man, while doing this sport. And that's a fun event.
The hype is real for sure.
Yeah, just don't hit a wall like Landon.
And end up 10 feet away from the go-kart.
Yeah, with your shoes off.
Yeah.
Should have tied his shoes better.
Should have tied it. And not to mention, guys, Rock Island's is still free to spectate in the majority of the areas, right, Christian? They can come up. All the people around the town come watch for free.
Actually, it's free to spectate in all of the areas. They have crossing gates. They open up between finals during the the driver preview, the opening ceremonies, and everyone can go take advantage of the vendors that are there set up, a bunch of displays. Briggs was on site this year. And, man, it's cool to see thousands of people just pile into a city and get excited about go-kart racing.
Sweet. Well, that's all coming up. Brandon and Paulie, you guys got some busy months, probably a lot of coaching gigs for you, Paulie, back home in North Carolina.
Yeah, a little bit this week, and then probably run on Sunday at the club race. And probably do a little bit more coaching, and then head over to the Grands.
And Brandon, you said Eddie Jars is coming in this week. You're bringing in Pop It Up. What's it going to take to get Eddie on the mic here for happy hour?
I don't know. That would be a rough one to get him on the mic, probably.
I'll get my
dad on the mic.
Oh yeah,
we got a club race down at GoPro this weekend. Have my team that I kind of started at the club race have probably about 9 or 10 drivers again this weekend. Then the weekend after, the F Series race in NGMP, and then Grand. So I pretty much have the same schedule as Andrew.
Yeah. And speaking of the dads, I know we had one comment in here. I was trying to find it. I can't find it, but that would be really funny. One of the comments was asking to put all of our dads on the show and have a happy hour with everyone involved. I don't know if my dad would know how to lead it. I'm sure he'd be happy to do it, but we've got some characters here.
Yeah,
Paul.
that would definitely be entertaining.
No doubt. So, and you know what, Aiden Rudolph, you've been asking a lot. All right, you've put this question in here like 7 times already. I think we've all touched about it enough. There's Speed Sports Racing Park's looking like it's going to be a really, really good option for the Southwest for USPK. I think we're going Texas bound. I think NOLA's a good backup plan B, but again, the reason these series don't announce it, and Christian can tell you guys all, even if we kind of know where we're going and everybody knows where they want to go, it still comes down to signing contracts, putting pen to paper. So they can't say that. So nothing's confirmed. We don't know where people are going. We're all speculating. We're all having fun on this show. But, Christian can back me up here. It's just a matter of putting pen to paper and officially making it. Otherwise, they can't say where they're going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that does it, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for KC Happy Hour again. Of course, we had some new special guests on here this week. Chase Jones shouted out Race, gave him a little bit of love. We'll see. He's maybe he'll come on fully bald next week if he thinks he lost the bet. Maybe we get enough votes if he's already halfway there. It can't be too much more to bring the Razor out. So we'll see about that. Andrew's going to fade into the nightfall, and we'll see him probably about a month and a half at whatever racetrack he turns up in. And for everybody else here with KC Happy Hour, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We had Braden Eves on the poster. He was supposed to be here. I think he was getting Chick-fil-A or something, so he's out. And who knows? Maybe Ryan Norberg will return. But we've got most of our casting crew coming back and some guests. We'll bring Race Liberante on again. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.